This broadcast will start in 15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, The Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Hello, and we are live. Hello, this is Darius with Divine Numerology. We have our radio show. We are talking. We are back. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We got some really good information today for you guys. Welcome everyone that's on my Facebook Live channel, and everyone that's on my personal page. We are going to talk about the number of the day, and we're going to be talking about some new insights. If you guys have any questions about what's going on in the world politically, let me know what's up to. Ask me, drop me some questions in the box. Also, if you want to know a bit about your birthday, drop that in the box too. I can talk about your birthday and share with you what your numerology tarot card is for the day. So, for everyone that's watching, the number of the day today is actually the 11th. And so the number 11 corresponds, it's the master number. It's lightning illumination. And it's a big bright light. And I have a really interesting experience to share recently that really illustrates the power of the number 11. Hey, April, good to see you from Oceanside. And Val, I have a really good, interesting experience. It just really illustrates the power of these numbers, where they show up in certain places, and how this incident impacted me as I observed it. So there was a potential situation that happened a few days ago, and there was someone that was actually driving to a restaurant known as, you probably heard of it, Yum Yum Donuts. That's the randomest thing ever. It's like Yum Yum Donuts. It's like Yum Yum Donuts. Yeah, Yum Yum Donuts, man. It's all about them donuts. But Yum Yum Donuts equals 11. And so when you add up that Yum Yum, that's 1111. Then the word donuts equals 29. So, and then 2 plus 9 equals 11. So that's 11, 11, 11. Even though that's so freaking random and funny, to me, is like, just nobody's expected to hear that. That's crazy. But 11 is the number of illumination and things that are, now in occult circles, 11 is actually feared by some because of its powerful occult significance. Because every number has polarity, every number has positive and negative sides. So the positive, of course, is the inspirer, the master intuitive, the enlightened being. And then the lower side, the shadow aspect of it, is the opposite, which is chaos. It can be, it's associated with anxiety, the lower pole of it, and things that are happening that are quite challenging and difficult to deal with and experience. So there's certain points when you're experiencing the 11 energy, when you're gonna have that 1 plus 1 is 2, which is cooperation. You're gonna have that cooperative spirit, that nice, peaceful interaction with people. Then you're gonna have the other part, which is the 11. That is that chaotic aspect. So last year, 2018, added up to equal 11. And for those of you looking at both poles, both sides, look at how 2018 was for you personally. You'll speak to people and say, oh man, 2018 was great. And then some people will say 2018 was not great. You know, a lot of different people had many transformations and things they experienced last year that was beautiful and quite challenging. A lot of things that happened in the news, very tough and challenging. I'm talking about the 11 number because even if you look in the tarot, look about a lot of the things that happened last year in the news. A lot of the things that happened in the news were dealing with people that were, being questioned, investigated, people that have been in a certain office for a long time, being exposed, and a lot of things that were in the dark being brought to the light. And what's the number 11? The number 11 is this. It's the justice card, right? 11 in the tarot is justice. I'm showing the other cameras so they can see it. But that is that particular number, and that is the energy of today. And so for those of you that are asking, I've seen someone drop in their birthday. Actually, let's see how many people did. Yeah, I got one person who dropped in their birthday. Born on the 26th, that's Val. And I'll tell you, Val, you're born on the 26th. And the 26 corresponds to the Page of Wands, which is I'm about to find it. This tarot deck is called the Gilded Tarot, and I got it a couple weeks ago. But looking for this Page of Wands, this guy right here. This is the Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands, as he is appearing in the tarot deck, he actually corresponds to energy, new energy, moving in a creative project, that you're starting, something that's new. So it would relate because it has the wands, which is the fire element, and then the page, which is all about a youthful, energetic approach to things, very ambitious, like, oh man, I'm gonna shoot for this, I'm gonna go for this. And that's what the number 26, how it corresponds to you, Val, since that's the day of your birth. Back to that 11 though. At Yum Yum Donuts the other day, a situation potentially could have happened where someone was there on the premises and they received a warning. They received an insight, like something told them to get out of that situation, get out of there. They told me this afterward. And when they left, immediately right then and thereafter, something transpired where they would have gotten caught up in a situation that wouldn't have been favorable for them. And then they told me the name of the place, and I added that up, and I found out, oh, wow, it equals 11, 11, and then 29. So that's some real interesting insight, but that's not the insight I was talking about giving to you today. The insight that I'm talking about here is a method of calculation. Now, this is one of the secrets. Now, this is a secret that you can find in one of the older numerology books, Shiro's Book of Numbers. Now, the way that you do this is you take the day of your birth and you round it to a single digit. Then you take the name that you go by. For instance, me, I go by the name Darius Oliver. Even though my full name is Darius Dwayne Anthony Oliver, I'll go by my first and last name. So that equals 41. When I calculate it according to what's known as Chaldean numerology. Now, when you do this, you have to calculate it according to Chaldean numerology, not the Western numerology, but it has to be the Chaldean system when you're using this secret here. And in this, you'll get a different variation of a number. Your name will equal something different in the Chaldean than it will in the Western numerology. It's almost like Western astrology versus Eastern astrology. So you take that. Now my full name, my name Darius Oliver equals 41, and that comes out to 5, which just so happens to match just my day of birth. So my name and my day both equal the same thing, right? But what I'll do is I'll add my name to my day of birth. I'll add the 5 to the 5. And then I'll add that to any day in the month. And the month, whatever number I get from adding that to the day in the month, that is going to give me the result. And I'll actually be able to look at the tarot card that corresponds to give me a meaning of whatever that day will have for me. So, for instance, if I say, okay, 5 plus 5, my name plus my birthday, which is the 5 plus the 5, that's going to give me 10. So if I say I'm going to add that to today's date, which is 11, that would give me 21. And what does 21 correspond to? 21, of course, we know that it has to do with, 2 is cooperation and balance. The 1 is confidence and creativity, new starts and new beginnings. So it's, of course, we know based on the pure numerological standpoint, it's cooperative independence, codependence, or not codependence, interdependence, interdependence, cooperative independence or interdependence. And then the 2 and the 1 add up to give you 3, which is expression, sensitivity. 3 has to do with media and communication. But beyond that, it also corresponds to the card known as the world card in the tarot. And I'm looking for that card right now so I can show you guys. But how that corresponds when you look at it and break it all down, the world is really illustrating going on a long journey that was completed or concluded. It's ruled by the planet Saturn. And it has a lot of influence from the sign of Capricorn. The world card does, from what I understand. If you guys know some more things besides what I'm sharing that you can add, please drop it in the inbox. Be happy to share and learn. But the world is like the story come around full circle. The end of The Wizard of Oz, the end of Star Wars, where the hero has overcome all the challenges, all the difficulties, all the scenarios that they've encountered on their journey till they reach that final destination. It's where Dorothy at the end of The Wizard of Oz talks to Glinda, and Glinda tells her to tap her heels 3 times and say there's no place like home. Then she realizes that she had the power the whole time. That's what the world card can correspond to. It corresponds when Luke at the end of Star Wars beats the Empire and establishes a new era of peace in that time frame. And that's what this world card represents in that way. And someone asked me, actually, Tammy Lee asked me how I've been lately. Great question. So if you guys, who've been following me, a little bit about me, how I've been lately, I have been doing pretty well. I've been learning a lot. I've been studying Vedic astrology, like you all know, and finding out what how best to use it. Some other things I've been doing is looking more into how I can apply the numerology in my own personal life and taking it beyond just the knowledge and talking about it, but being, actually doing it and creating results so that I can share what happens and give this information out. and teach it experientially. See, there's a part of studying it where you take it beyond the book. It goes beyond just learning the books by reading the books. It goes to a point where you begin practicing it. You become a practitioner of numerology, not just a teacher of it or a reader of it, but a user, a creator with it. For instance, when I tell people, oh, use your numbers, charge your numbers, put energy into it. Well, what does that look like? Well, what it looks like is using your email to equal the number 5. Or in my case, it would be the number 5 because that's my day. That's my number. Using your email, using your password. That doesn't mean you go and put your password as 555 and, all these 999 and all this stuff like that. I mean, you could. But what it more so means is having that name of whatever it is you're using equal the number that you're targeting. 5 in my case. So I'll be thinking of a password and I'll have a password and I'll say, okay, how's it going to equal 5? And I'll think of it creatively, have it equal 5. The whole point of this though is initially when I first started this, I would try it once or twice. I would see a result here or there. This is like a few years back when I was when I was intermittently applying it. And what I mean by that is applying it here and there, but not consistently. And what would happen is I would share this. I would share this insight and, oh, this happened and that happened. But now here's the power of it. The power is in consistently using these numbers. Consistently using these numbers in your life in the different areas where it's important, where it's needed. And applying it with consistency means that you're interweaving this vibration with all your activities. Dates, that doesn't mean you only do things on the date of the 5, like in my case. That means you would do primary things on the day that corresponds to 5, really important things. But like password, email, if you're making music, what's the length of your song? Like making a song that is 3 minutes and 2 seconds. 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Why? Because 3 plus 1 plus 1 is 5. And so when you do that, when you apply this type of energy to your work, whether your birthday equals 6 or whether your birthday equals 3 or any other number, over time, as you do that consistently, you will definitely notice results for you corresponding to the numbers and the energies. And this is why it's very important also to see how that energy is influenced in your astrology chart. And that was another one of the things that made me really interested in astrology. And because I wanted to know, I'm like, hey, look, I'm telling people, oh, do this on your day and do this, wear this color because it'll enhance this number. Then one day I saw on astrology website or a video, it said, hey, you can do that, but it's also important to know how this planet that's influencing that number shows up in the person's chart. Because if you know where that is, then you know which part you're activating by using that number, by activating that number. So by me activating 5, I'm not just activating the number only, I'm also activating the planet that rules the number 5, which is Mercury. I'm interacting with the planets as well by using the numbers. The numbers are like keys on a piano that we play. The words that we write whenever we're writing, whenever we're naming something, whenever we're creating a vibration we want, it's like we're tapping or playing the keys of the piano. to create the sound that we want as far as the feedback we want to experience in our life. So in that case, the music that you listen to, this one is pretty interesting to experiment with, but I encourage you to check and see what your favorite songs are. Check and see what your favorite songs are, the favorite versions of your songs are, and calculate the names of the songs. I bet you the names of your favorite songs will probably correspond to your day number. And if it's a song that is the same, that equals the same, adds up to the same number as your birthday number, you'll probably like it too. I just say experiment with this. Experiment with it and see where it leads you. And for those of you that do make music, making music according to your number, that will amplify and attach your energy to it. So when you use when you're using that number and you're activating the planet, in my case, Mercury, where else does Mercury appear in my chart? The planet Mercury. Well, it just so happens on my astrology chart, Mercury has the highest placement in my chart. It holds the highest degree. And it's in the sign of Aquarius for me. So in astrology, my Mercury is in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is a very humanitarian type universal energy form or sign. That's the way that it thinks. It's very universal in its approach, humanitarian, wanting to help the bigger cause. So what that means, since I have Mercury there, I'm actually using Mercury. Mercury is communication. Mercury is the media. This is what I'm doing. I'm on the media right now. And what am I doing? I'm broadcasting. I'm speaking to a lot of people all at the same time. That's what Aquarius does. Mercury in the sign of Aquarius creates this type of thing here. Also, Aquarius is very has a very interesting, unique way of looking and thinking at things. Mercury likes to be purely logical and methodical, and so that is how my communication comes across. That's one of the things with numerology: very methodical, very logical. And so then it's so interesting when you take a look at this. Even my car, what kind of car am I driving? Right now, the car that I drive is called a Mercury Sable. And at the time that I got the car, I wasn't this knowledgeable, about astrology, and I wasn't making these types of connections until afterward. After I got the car, that's when I made the connection. It wasn't like necessarily before I got the car. I was like, oh man, okay, I need to get a car. It's a Mercury. That's the car I need to get. But after I started, I'm like, oh wow, I'm driving a Mercury car. Even the time that I was born, March 5th, yes, it is in, I'm born on the 5th, but I'm also born in a time that corresponds to the Mercury energy as well. And what I've found is many of the people that I consistently attract are ruled by the planet Mercury. The way that numerology and astrology interact and work with each other is so amazing. And that's why I recommend that people look into it themselves. And if you don't know how, I can teach you. And if you don't have the time to do it yourself or the time to learn it, then I can do this for you. If you're interested in this type of service, message me and we'll talk about it. But these are some of the insights that I've been getting. Let's see. Someone asked me, So Tammy Lee says, I always see 1106, which is my birthday, which is the year 244, which is the time I was born. And then I see my song's birthday month and time and 926. She said she's had so many addresses 6 times in her life. 808, which is her passcode. And, okay, like right there, her brother's birthday, now's month. Okay. So, again, thanks, Tammy Lee, for sharing. So she just posted that on my page, my public page, that all the numbers that she's seeing following her are prevalent in her reality as she walks in her life every day. Especially one more thing, too. Also, you'll notice the planet. Yes, you'll notice the day of your birth. One of the big, beautiful things that I've seen is, yes, Chaldean numerology, in my opinion, is quite potent. And it has a lot of substance. Like, it is truly revealed itself to me as having material substance in the physical reality as far as what numbers and letters actually equal. But then when we look at the Western system of numerology, it also has a lot of accuracy as well. And it also is a way that the universe interacts with us too. Especially when you know the full value of what your name equals in the Western. My full name equals 322. And 322 shows up for me in a lot of different ways. And whenever I see 322, it is usually telling me to pay really close attention. And 322, I'm talking about, okay, yeah, I might see it on a license plate. I might see it on, like, you know, like the clock. I might look at the clock and see 322. I might see those things. But I'm talking about when I meet somebody that has their birthday equaling 322, March 22nd. Somebody born on March 22nd. Doesn't mean I believe everything that they tell me. Like, oh my gosh, you're born March 22nd, I'm going to believe everything you say. No, it's more like that person has something that they're sharing with me, very pertinent information for me to pay attention to. And when I listen to it, I notice a trend. Someone has an address that equals 322. That tells me that, and I know people that have address that equals 322. I know them. I know these people, and they work with me very closely. They have. But knowing that, I'm telling you guys too, when you know what your full name equals, like the full name on the birth certificate, first, middle, and last, that'll tell you a lot. That's on the Western and in the Eastern. And Max Soto, one of my respected mentors, just messaged me too on Facebook. What's up, Max? Good to see you, man. So that's some of the power right there of just using these numbers in that way. You know, I mean, you know how to use these numbers, you can create a lot of change in your life. You know when to launch it. You know when to launch a big project. It things for you, and you'll see things happen. It's crazy. I mean, we see repeating numbers, so when we interact with it, we're gonna get the same thing or something better. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the box too. So Naz Khan says that their son's birthday is March 23rd, and this person Naz, they said they see this number everywhere. So after watching this, guys, pay attention to where you see your numbers. your personal numbers. Nas Khan's birthday is on the 30th of September, 1968. That's 24, 54, 63. So Nas, that means that your birthday comes out to 63, and that just for you is the 9 of 63 is the 9 of swords. And so what it would basically mean, 63 is the 9 of swords, and that would mean not to worry so much. Don't worry so much. 63 as a number has a challenge getting to sleep. Getting that proper rest at night, because it stays up worrying, and there's a tendency to worry a lot about things. And so a part of that, a part of what can really assist that energy, or that number as a life path, is some meditation, calming the mind, easing the mind. It corresponds with the life path 9. So you have a life path 9, Nas, and let's see. Yeah, you have a life path 9, and that is the number of wisdom and integrity. But it's also about going within, and so that could be a possible remedy to alleviating a lot of the anxiety that you may experience, and help to stay more on the positive side of any type of sadness that you may be experiencing in your life or have been. And also another thing about today is that it is a 111. Some of you guys are commenting right now in the box saying, yeah, I see 111 daily. Well, today's 111. Today's 1/11, January 11th. And so it's also whenever you got that, when you got that repeating ones, you have that energetic gateway. It's kind of like flashing lights saying, hey, welcome to the club, or it's saying, hey, pay attention. Tammy Lee says that she has 3 aunts and a cousin that their birthdays are all on March 23rd. So right there you have an example of what's called cluster birthdays. People that are coming into a generational line where they have a similar lesson to be learning in this lifetime. And they happen to be born in the same lineage to assist each other in that process. You'll find that they have similar traits in common. And you'll definitely notice that. And then looking at it, we got... Oh, someone asked a really good question. Someone asked the question, does it matter what name you're using if you're married? Yes, it does matter. Whenever I'm calculating someone's birthday from the Western standpoint, I'm going to use the full name as it appears on the birth certificate. Whenever I'm calculating someone according to the Chaldean numerology to see what part of their life, what planets are being activated, then I look at the Chaldean because I look at the name that they're currently going by at that time, because that's the vibration that they're running at that moment. Great questions, guys. That is our show for today. If you guys want a reading, if you guys want me to take a look at your astrology or your numerology, you can contact me. My number is 209-898-4103, or message me on Facebook, or email me. My email is dariusoliver999@gmail.com. All right, guys. This is Darius with Divine Numerology. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.